Today, we're building a bulletproof system to track every MSA, that's Master Services Agreement, in your HubSpot CRM. No more chasing PDFs. I'll show you exactly how to track the status, the document itself, and the expiration date directly in HubSpot. My name is Jasper, I'm a certified HubSpot consultant, and let me share my screen and I'll show you how to do this. So here we're in HubSpot, and the first thing that we want to do is we want to create the properties that we need. So for this, we'll go to Settings, and since I did this from Companies, we're already here in Companies. If you're clicking Settings from anywhere else, you will need to locate Objects here under Data Management, then Companies, and then you will see this screen right here. Then we're going to click on Manage Properties, and the first thing we want to do is we want to create a new group because we like everything well organized in our HubSpot, and we're going to name this Compliance. So once we have our Compliance group, we're going to create this property. I do like more options, and the first thing we're going to create is MSA status. This is under the company objects and it's part of compliance. We do want the description here, so we'll just say shows the MSA status for this company. Then for the field type, we want to do a drop-down select. Our first option here is going to be not sent, sent, signed, and expired. Let's assume that for leads, for example, obviously you don't need an MSA for leads. This property is just going to be blank, right? So we don't need a color for that. So not send is something we would set ourselves, and it could be that we set that during the sales process. So that would be red because we don't have an MSA with this company. When it's sent, we'll make it yellow. When it's signed, it's green. And when it's expired, it should also be red. One thing you can do here is for not sent, since it's like we might still be working on this, we can also make it purple, but this way we can definitely see like if it's not green, we have some work to do here. This is something we typically do not need in forms or chat flows, so we'll just check that off. So that is the first one. So if you look at our compliance group now, we'll see we have just one property here. Then the next one we're going to create is the MSA document link. So we'll do create property again. Let's call this signed MSA. This is again under compliance, the most recent signed MSA for this company. Then the field type in this case is going to be a file, and obviously we want this to be a private file. Again, we do not need this in forms, so we'll create that. And then the last one we want is the MSA renewal date in case there is a renewal date for the MSA. So we'll create that here. Then the field type in this case, obviously, is the date picker. And if you want, you can show the relative time as well, so you can see like, oh, this actually expires in 30 days, right when you look at this property. So we'll create that one as well. So that's the first part. So now we have our properties. The next thing we want to do is that we create some visibility around these properties. So let's say we go to Delta Airlines here, and there's like two places where I would usually show these things. So let's click on Customize, go to our default view here, and here we'll add a card with property lists. I will call this Compliance. Now when we scroll all the way down here, we have our compliance properties. So we have MSA status, we have the signed MSA, and we have the MSA renewal date. So we'll add those here. And then one thing you can do if you want a pro tip on not cluttering your CRM unnecessarily, you can change this here to set conditional logic and say if the lifecycle stage is none of, let's say that opportunity is the first time we want to see this. If it's none of these, then I want to hide this. And then on the left hand side, we can do the same thing here. We can create a property list for compliance. So this way it's always visible. We'll add those same properties here. And if you want, you can also add that same logic there. I'm going to save us some time here and not do that. So right now we can see Delta Airlines is in lifecycle stage lead, which means that it doesn't show up right here. If we change the lifecycle stage for Delta, and let me add that right here, and we'll manually make Delta Airlines an opportunity right now. then you're going to see our compliance card is going to show up right here. When we're in this record, we have the option to easily update our MSA status here. As soon as we want to upload the file for the signed MSA, we can just click on Add File. And then we also can add our MSA renewal date right here. So that's step number 2. Now for step number 3. We want to create our compliance view here. We click on plus, create new view. I do want this to be a table view for now, and we're going to name this compliance. Now, of course, you have 2 options. Like either you can say, I want to create a filtered list where I filter on the lifecycle stage as any of opportunity, customer, and evangelists, assuming that those are the ones where you want to check compliance. Then we're going to add our compliance columns here. I also like to clean this up a little bit and remove anything that we do not need right now. Okay, I think these are relevant. We'll add the MSA status, the signed MSA, and the renewal. We'll move these to the front because that's what we're focused on here. I always like to have that frozen column as well. Makes it easier when you're scrolling to know where you're at. And now we have an easy overview. Don't forget to click save, by the way. We have an easy overview to see which companies here have like an MSA status and what that status is exactly. And of course, you can do things like create a simple workflow that sends a notification as soon as a deal is closed, but the MSA status is not signed yet, that we need to make sure that we get the MSA signed as well. Also quickly show you how to create a simple dashboard where you can keep track of these things as well. Next, you want to subscribe to my HubSpot Excellence newsletter. Link is in the description, and this is where I share all of the good stuff that doesn't make it onto YouTube. So now that we have these properties, we can go to our dashboards. We'll click on Create Dashboards and we'll name this Compliance. Let's create this dashboards. And now for our reports here, we'll just do like very simple report, single object report, company based. I want to use all data here. We're going to add our MSA status, renewal date, and signed MSA in here in the list. We'll also add in the lifecycle stage. Another interesting one here might be date entered customer, so that we know when they became a customer. So let's add this in here. Then we'll go to our visualization here. Let's add the MSA status. We'll do a count of companies. I'm going to do this report here. We're going to filter on lifecycle stage customer. Here we have it. This is going to be our MSA audit. To make this a little bit more valuable, I'll quickly update some of these records in my demo portal here. And here you have it. So now we have a report where we can see exactly where our customers sit. And when we click on them, we can easily see them in the list. We can see when they became a customer. And this way, compliance can easily review these and make sure that we get this one renewed, this one signed, and an MSA in place for this one right here. Another interesting report would be for expiring. So I'm going to start again from this report because I already have most of my data here. I'm going to click on Customize. And for this report, I'm going to say MSAs expiring this quarter. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a table. This is going to be an unsummarized table. We do not need the lifecycle stage. We do not need date entered customer. We just need the MSA status, the renewal dates, and the customer name as well, of course. Company name. So we'll add the company name there. Then we want to filter and we want to say renewal date. MSA renewal date is this quarter. And now we will see the MSAs that are expiring this quarter with the renewal date with them, the current status, and the company, so we can easily go to those companies. We'll save this as a new report. Going to add this to our compliance dashboard. And here you have 2 examples of how we can use our newly created compliance properties in our HubSpot CRM, how we have that easy overview both on the company record as well as in our company views. And that's it for this video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more HubSpot excellence. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.